My name is Teresa Todd. I've invested in hundreds of properties since 2018. Since then, I have built a multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio, and I am here to give you all my secrets.
Hello, beautiful. In this video, I am going to walk you through what inflation is and what it means to you as a real estate investor and future home buyer. We're also going to take a look at the average cost per home over the last century and take a deeper look at the shift in affordability that took a decline in the 1970s and why the average American has been trying to play catch up ever since. Stay until the end of this video to understand exactly why inflation and recession affects you and use this specialized knowledge to your benefit when investing in the future. All you hear on the news right now is inflation. The word inflation has a lot of people paralyzed. What is inflation? What's the concern? And what's the issue? When we hear words like inflation, recession, everyone holds on to their money really, really tight. The issue is when inflation is so rapid like it is right now, it makes the money that we already have kind of worthless. To explain what's going on right now, from the beginning of our country's history, all the way up to 2019, there was only $4 trillion ever produced. That means there was a total of $4 trillion in circulation from the beginning of our country's history until 2019. Then, since 2019 alone, the government has printed an additional $16 trillion. That means that the government printed 4 times the amount of money throughout all of our country's history in the past 3 years. Now, there is $20 trillion in circulation. The government printed so much money in a ridiculously short amount of time, and that is why everyone is talking about inflation. The money that you have now is becoming worth so much less. You can see that if you take a look around through the cost of eggs, milk, and gas, and so on. When there was very little money in circulation, money was very, very valuable. Now there is an abundant amount of money. In less than 3 years, inflation devalued all the money that you have been saving your whole life. So if you had $100,000 by the end of 2020, your buying power has decreased, and that $100,000 is now worth less than $25,000. This is a significantly bigger problem than anyone is even talking about. That leaves you and I with only 2 options. We can be paralyzed by this information and hold on to our money only for its value to plummet, or we can put our money into the only thing in history that's value has kept up with inflation: buying and owning real estate. Let me give you a few examples. If you look at the cost of homes going all the way back to the 1940s, the average cost of a home in the U.S. was $2,900. The average cost in 1950 was $7,300, so it more than doubled. In 1960, it was $12,000. And in 1970, it was $17,000. But here's what's interesting. In 1970, the average income was $23,000, right? So up until the 1970s, the average income was always greater than the cost of a home. Think about that. The average income in 1 year was higher than the cost of a home. That's why most of our grandparents and great-grandparents had their homes paid off, because they could literally save half the money for 2 years worth of work and pay the entire house off, or 20% over 5 years and pay the entire house off. As of now, at the time of this recording, the average cost of a home is over $400,000 in the United States. However, inflation hasn't stopped, and the rise in value of houses hasn't stopped. The value of homes keep up with inflation. The average home went from $17,000 in the 1970s to $47,000 in the 1980s, but then it continued. $80,000 in the 1990s, then $120,000 in the 2000s, and it didn't stop there. Now what's interesting, if you look at inflation This is continuing. And by 2010, the average home was over $220,000. Then, in 2020, $360,000. But it didn't even stop there. It continued from 2020 to 2023. The average price of a home is over $460,000. Inflation is skyrocketing in just the last 3 years, which is taking the home value right along with it. Now, I can't stop inflation, but I can empower you. I can teach you how to beat inflation. And there is only one way, and that is investing in real estate. Follow the facts. The facts are they're printing more money than they ever have in the history of our country, and they aren't stopping. And as they do that, inflation will continue to skyrocket. But remember, as real estate investors, we're in a unique position to not only profit during times of economic downturn, but also create win-wins for families in need. You just need to have all the facts. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my last video about 2 recession-proof investing strategies that you can start immediately. If you're questioning whether it's a good time to invest in real estate because of inflation, rising interest rates, or the impending recession, then join me in my upcoming 7-day real estate investing masterclass, and I'll show you why more millionaires are made in recession than during times of economic growth. The Without Fear of Her Future Masterclass is linked down in the description of this video. Register now. And again, I'm Tresa Todd, encouraging you to dream big and be brave.